Hello everyone, welcome to your own channel Pareeksha Insight. So today I am here to discuss about Indian National Congress and their all session. So all the important point and question which has been asked in every government examination and can be asked in that exam will be covered here. So let's start. In 1884, Alan Octavian Hume, A.O. Hume, formed an association called Indian National Union. So, A.O. Hume was a retired English officer and also a moderate leader, Naram Dal ka Neta, right? So, once he formed an association which is called Indian National Union, that union decided to call a convention of the representatives of all Indian people at Pune in 1885. But in the year of 1885 at Pune, as cholera spreaded, that convention decided to hold and shifted to Bombay. In the same year of 1885, and that session becomes Indian National Congress का first session. So that session becomes first session of Indian National Congress. So if we see from 1885 to 1948, there were 55 sessions and 3 special sessions of Indian National Congress held. Except that 8 years, which was 1930, 1935, 1941 to 45, that means 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and in 1947 there were no session held of Indian National Congress. So from 1885 to 1948, 8 years there were no session, except that every year there were session of Indian National Congress held, and total were 55 session and 3 special session of Indian National Congress happen, right? So if we go to the first session of Indian National Congress, which happened in 28 December 1885 at Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit College, which is in Bombay. In that session, Indian National Congress was founded by A.O. Hume, Alan Octavian Hume. And the Congress word is taken from USA Parliament, which meaning is a group of delegate people. So the Congress was founded in the first session 28 December 1885 by A.O. Hume, and the first session happened in Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit College in Bombay. In the first session, total 72 delegates attended from all over the India, and Vomesh Chandra Banerjee, W.C. Banerjee, became the first president of Indian National Congress. Lord Dufferin was the viceroy at the time of Indian National Congress found, or you can say at the time of first session of Indian National Congress, Lord Dufferin was viceroy and Gladstone was the British Prime Minister at that time. ICS, Indian Civil Service, has been demanded in the first session of Indian National Congress to associate Indians in the working of administration. Main members are of Indian National Congress were Dadabhai Naoroji, Firoza Mehta, Badruddin Tyabzi, W.C. Banerjee, Gopalakrishna Gokhale, Anand Mohan Bose, and Ramesh Chandra Datta. They all are moderate leader, that means Naram Dal ka Neta, right? If we see second session, which happened in 1886 at Calcutta, Dadabhai Naoroji became the first Parsi president of Indian National Congress. So who was the first Parsi president of Indian National Congress? Answer is Dadabhai Naoroji. who became in second session which happened in 1886 at Calcutta. So in second session, number of delegates increased from 76 to 436 all over in India, from all over the India. And in the second session only, executive and judiciary were separated. There was a nationalist organization called Indian National Conference, which was founded by Surendranath Banerjee in 1883 at Calcutta. That organization, Indian National Conference, was merged into the Indian National Congress in second session, which happened in 1886 at Calcutta. Dadabhai Nauroji was the oldest president of Indian National Congress and also known as Grand Old Man of India. So, if we see third session, which happened in 1887 at Madras, Badruddin Tyabzi became the first Muslim president of Indian National Congress. And in the third session only, first time a speech was given in Tamil language. Fourth session, which happened in 1888 at Allahabad, George Ewell became the first English president of Indian National Congress. In the fourth session only, first time a speech was given in Hindi language. Fifth session, which happened in 1889 at Bombay, William Wedderburn became the president of Indian National Congress. And in the fifth session only, which happened in 1889 at Bombay, first time women were participated. If we see seventh session, which happened in 1891 at Nagpur, P. Anand Charlu became the president of Indian National Congress. And in this session, he said that he said in this conference that second name of Congress is nationality. Indian national word added before Congress in the seventh session only by Dadabhai Nauroji. So seventh session happened in 1891 at Nagpur, and in this session Indian national word before Congress was added by Dadabhai Nauroji. Till seventh session it was called Congress, and after seventh session it becomes Indian National Congress. Then 12th session, which happened in 1896 at Calcutta, Rahimullah Sayani became the president of Indian National Congress. And in 12th session only, national song Bande Matram, which was written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, was sung for the first time by Rabindranath Tagore. And in 17th session, which happened in 1901 at Calcutta, when Dinshaw-e Wacha became the president of Indian National Congress, first time Gandhiji appeared. So, if question is, in which session of Indian National Congress first time Gandhiji appeared, answer will be 17th session, which happened in 1901 at Calcutta, and that time president was Dinshaw-e Wacha. So first time Gandhiji appeared on the Congress session of 17th session, which happened in 1901 at Calcutta. If we see 21st session, which happened in 1905 at Varanasi, Gopal Krishna Gokhale became the president of Indian National Congress. And in 21st session, formal proclamation of Swadeshi movement against government happened. 22nd session, which happened in 1906 at Calcutta, Dadabhai Nauroji was the president of Indian National Congress. And in the 22nd session, the word Swaraj was used for the first time by any president of Indian National Congress. So when was the Swaraj was used for the first time? Answer is in 22nd session of Indian National Congress, which happened in 1906 at Calcutta, first time Swaraj word used by the President of Indian National Congress, which was Dadabhai Naoroji. So 23rd session, which happened in 1907, it happened two times. First time in 1907 at Surat, which was suspended, and again it happened in 1908 at Madras. And in 23rd session of Indian National Congress, President of Indian National Congress was Ras Bihari Ghosh. In Surat session, which happened in 1907, there was first split of Congress into moderates and extremists. After that, this session has been suspended. And then again, the session which happened in 1908 in Madras, also known as 23rd session, in that session, Constitution of Congress was formed. So, if we see 26th session, which happened in 1911 at Calcutta, Bisan Narayan Dhar was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 26th session, national anthem Jana Gana Man, which was written by Rabindranath Tagore, was sung for the first time. 29th session, which happened in 1914 at Madras, Bhupendranath Basu was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 29th session, the governor of Madras, Lord Portland, attended. So, governor of Madras, Lord Portland, attended which session of Indian National Congress? Answer is 29th session, which happened in 1914 at Madras. 30th session, which happened in 1950 at Bombay, Satyendra Prasanna Sinha was the president of Indian National Congress, and 30th session was participated by Lord Wellington. So Lord Wellington participated in 30th session of Indian National Congress, which happened in 1915, which happened in 1915 at Bombay. And that time, President of Indian National Congress was Satyendra Prasanna Sinha. So, if we see 31st session, which happened in 1916 at Lucknow, Ambika Charan Majumdar was the President of Indian National Congress. And in the 31st session only, merger of Congress through Congress Muslim League Pact, or this pact is also known as Lucknow Pact. So, by Lucknow Pact or Congress Muslim League Pact, merger of Congress happened in 31st session, which was in 1960 at Lucknow. So in 31st session of Congress, merger of Congress happened. 32nd session, which happened in 1917 at Calcutta, Annie Besant became the first woman president of Indian National Congress. And then a special session happened in 1918 at Bombay, in which Hassan Imam was the president of Indian National Congress, and in the special session of 1918, which happened at Bombay, second split of Congress happened. Then, if you go to third session which happened in 1918 at Delhi, Madan Mohan Malviya was the president of Indian National Congress at the time of 33rd session, which happened in 1918 at Delhi. In the 33rd session, S.N. Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee has resigned. 35th session, which happened in 1920 at Nagpur, C. Vijay Raghavacharya was the president of Indian National Congress in 35th session, which happened in 1920 at Nagpur. And in 35th session only, Constitution of Congress changed. Constitution of Congress has been changed in 35th session, which happened in 1920 at Nagpur. And in 35th session only, non-cooperation movement resolution also passed. Then again a special session happened in 1920 at Calcutta when Lala Lajpat Rai was the president of Indian National Congress. If we see 36th session which happened in 1921 at Ahmedabad, Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das, CR Das, was the president of Indian National Congress. But as CR Das was in prison, then Hakim Azmal Khan became acting president of Indian National Congress, which is in 36th session of Indian National Congress happened in 1921 at Ahmedabad. Then again a special session held in 1923 at Delhi when Abul Kalam Azad became youngest president of Indian National Congress. And at the youngest president he was 35 years old. So 39th session happened in 1924 at Belgaum where Mahatma Gandhi was the president of Indian National Congress. So 39th session is the only session presided by Mahatma Gandhi which happened in 1924 at Belgaum. 40th session happened in 1925 at Kanpur where Sarojini Naidu became first Indian woman president of Indian National Congress. If you see 41st session of Indian National Congress which happened in 1926 at Guwahati, S. Srinivas Iyengar was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 41st session, every Congress person made compulsory to wear khadi in 41st session which happened in 1926 at Guwahati. 42nd session which happened in 1927 at Madras, M.A. Ansari was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 42nd session, demand of complete independence, Purna Swaraj, has been demanded in 42nd session which happened in 1927 at Madras. So if the question is when complete independence was demanded or when Purna Swaraj was demanded, answer is 42nd session which happened in 1927 at Madras, and at that time M.A. Ansari was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 42nd session only, to boycott of Simon Commission resolution was passed. 43rd session which happened in 1928 at Calcutta, Pandit Motilal Nehru was the president of Indian National Congress, and in 43rd session first All India Youth Congress were formed. If we go to 44th session which happened in 1929 at Lahore, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the president of Indian National Congress, where in 44th session complete independence, Purna Swaraj resolution was passed. 45th session which happened in 1931 at Karachi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the president of Indian National Congress. And in 45th session, resolution was passed on fundamental rights and national economic policy. In 45th session, which happened in 1931 at Karachi, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the president of Indian National Congress at that time. 48th session, which happened in 1934 at Bombay, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of Indian National Congress. In 40th session, Congress Socialist Party was formed. So, 50th session which happened in 1937 at Faizpur in Bengal, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the president of Indian National Congress. 50th session becomes the first session to be held in village which happened in 1937 at Faizpur village in Bengal. 51st session which happened in 1938 at Haripura, Gujarat, Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of Indian National Congress, and in the 51st session National Planning Committee was set up under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru. 52nd session, which happened in 1939 at Tripuri, Madhya Pradesh, Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of Indian National Congress, and then Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the president of Indian National Congress in 52nd session after Subhash Chandra Bose resigned. And in the 52nd session only, Subhash Chandra Bose, after resigning, he formed Forward Bloc. So, if we see, J.B. Kripalani was the president of Indian National Congress at the time of independence. He resigned in November 1947, after which Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of Indian National Congress. 55th session, which happened in 1948 at Jaipur, Pattabhi Sitaramaiah was the president of Indian National Congress, and that is the session which began with the singing of Bande Mataram and Jana Gana Mana. President of Indian National Congress for the most number of times. If we see who was the president of Indian National Congress for the most number of times, answer was Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. So answer is Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. He was president from 1940 to 1945, 6 years. The first woman to address the session of Indian National Congress was, who was the first woman who addressed the session of Indian National Congress? Then answer is Kadambini Ganguly. The session happened in Calcutta in 1890, and there is a homework for you guys, that in this session who was the president of Indian National Congress? The right answer will be whatever will be, if you guys are commenting the right answer, I will like it or I will pin it so that you can see the right answer. So guys, comment the right answer of this question, that in the session of 1890, which happened in Calcutta, in which first time any woman addresses the session of Indian National Congress, the woman was Kadambini Ganguly. So at that time, who was the president of this session? So let's see some opinions about Indian National Congress by Indian National Congress members only, or governor and other important person. So if we go to the first opinion, this opinion was given by Lord Curzon, and opinion is, the Congress is tottering to its fall, and one of my greatest ambition while in India is to assist it to a peaceful demise. This was said by Lord Curzon about Indian National Congress. And Lord Dufferin said about Indian National Congress was, Indian National Congress represents only a microscopic minority. Bal Gangadhar Tilak said about Indian National Congress that Indians could not achieve any success if we croak once a year like a frog. Lala Lajpat Rai said about Indian National Congress that Congress is a brainchild of Lord Dufferin. Ashwini Kumar Datta said about National Congress that the session of Congress are a 3 days tamasha. Bipin Chandrapal said about the Indian National Congress that Congress is a begging institution. So if you see who are the English president of Indian National Congress, then answer will be George Yule, William Wedderburn, Alfred Webb, Henry Cotton. So George Yule was in the session of 1888, which happened in Allahabad. William Wedderburn was the president of Indian National Congress in 1889 session, and 1910 session. 1889 session happened in Bombay and 1910 session happened in Allahabad. Alfred Webb was the president of Indian National Congress. In session happened in 1887 at Madras, and Henry Cotton was the president of Indian National Congress. In session happened in 1904 at Bombay. There were some books written by the Indian National Congress members. Let's see that book, that Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Who wrote this? Poverty and Un-British Rule in India was written by Dadabhai Naoroji in 1901. Economic History of India was written by R.C. Datta in 1901. Gita Rahasya was written by Bal Gangadhar Tilak in Mandalay jail in 1911. Durgesh Nandini was written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in Bengali language in 1864. So this was the Indian National Congress and their all important session. This was the lecture all about it, and there was no any important topic or any important point has been left behind this topic. So everything has been covered in this. So guys, if you like it, please like, subscribe and share the videos to your friends, and do comment to the question which I asked in this lecture, and also do comment that on which topic I should take another lecture or another session. So thank you guys, meet you soon.